London, 1888, the year of Jack Ripper. But while the world obsessed over Whitechapel, something just as disturbing was surfacing in the Thames. Not whole bodies, not staged victims, just torsos. And in one case, a severed limb was found on land once owned by Mary Shelley, the woman who imagined bodies stitched together from parts. This is the story of the Thames Torso Murders. The torso killings predate the Ripper. As early as 1873, dismembered remains were found along the Thames in what became known as the Battersea Mystery, but the confirmed series began in 1887. In Raynham, body parts of women were pulled from the river. Arms and legs surfaced separately. Eventually, a torso was recovered. The head was missing. The cuts were clean, deliberate, made at the joints. This wasn't a random hacking. Whoever did this knew anatomy. In 1889, one victim was finally identified, Elizabeth Jackson. She was 24 years old, poor, vulnerable, likely pregnant at the time of her death. Her remains were discovered scattered across the Thames, Battersea, Wandsworth, Chelsea. Medical testimony stated the limbs were removed with skill and precision, not butchered blindly, but separated cleanly at the joints. Her head was never found. Elizabeth Jackson remains the only torso victim conclusively identified. In 1888, during construction of the new Metropolitan Police headquarters near Whitehall, workers uncovered a female torso hidden inside a vault. This became known as the Whitehall Torso Mystery. Even more unsettling, a severed arm connected to the case was discovered on Pimlico on the land once owned by Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein. Victorian London was in the grip of fear, because at the same time, the Ripper murders were unfolding in Whitechapel. Then, in September 1889, another torso was found beneath a railway arch in East London. The Pinchin Street torso lay headless and legless in the heart of Ripper territory. But the differences were striking. Jack the Ripper mutilated victims where he killed them, frenzied, chaotic, public. The torso killer worked privately. Dismemberment happened elsewhere. Bodies were transported, identity was removed. This was controlled, methodical, and planned. For decades, the torso murders remained unsolved with no strong suspect, but some modern researchers have suggested a possible name. James Thomas Crick. Crick was the Thames bargeman, someone intimately familiar with the river's tides, currents, and disposal points. He had prior convictions involving violence against women and was known to have lived and worked along the river during the relevant years. Supporters of this theory argue he had access to private spaces on boats, he understood how the Thames would carry remains, and he had a violent history. However, it's important to note there is no definitive proof linking James Crick to the murders. No forensic evidence, no confession, and no formal charge. He remains a speculative suspect, one of several names proposed long after the crimes occurred. Were the Thames Torso murders connected to Jack the Ripper? Were they the work of a river worker like James Crick? Or was there another unknown killer operating in Victorian London's shadows? We may never know, because unlike the Ripper, who seemed to crave attention, the Torso murders erased faces, erased identities, and let the river carry the rest away. For this meal, I decided to make a traditional British dish called toad in the hole. It wasn't bad, but I will say it was a bit bland, so it's not something that I would probably make often, but I was thankful for the experience. Again, I'm Jody Breton, and this is Meals to Unalive For. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.